Hello, creatives! Do you know how to create accessible tables and charts? On this video, I gotta show you some tips in order to create them. But before I start, I must say that I am MAIANE, Brazilian designer, and this video is part of a series where I have been sharing the entire process of creating a UI accessibility kit. And this video has the sponsorship of the Adobe Creative Residency Community Fund. If you want to know more about it, check the description. So let's go to the computer. And here I am on the computer, and I gotta show you the tables, the charts, and what can you do in order to make them accessible. So let's go to Dropbox.g because I already have a part of my UI accessibility kit. This is a part of it. And let me explain each one of these points here. This way you will understand what you can or can't do in order to create accessible tables and charts. Allow the user to change views between table and chart. Just like this, or something similar related, maybe even an easier user interface, you can choose and you can try what will work best for your user. And this is important because some users can find hard to see a table, and others can have a hard time watching just a chart. For this reason, it's important to give the user the option to choose which one fits best their needs. And the second point is analyze the data in order to decide if showing both table and chart on the same screen is a good choice. This point explains about that sometimes you can have complex data or complex charts, or maybe for some reason it makes sense that your content have the table and the chart on the same screen. So you must understand the content, and then you can decide if it's better for the user to have just one view or to have both on the same view. The third point, allow the user to use the keyboard to navigate between the data. This is really important. If you have a table or a chart, it doesn't matter. The user must be able to navigate through all these data, all these names, and all these charts, and also these numbers. They must have a way to navigate through the keyboard without any trouble, okay? And the fourth point, if it is a complex chart, consider alternative ways like descriptions or audio descriptions to the entire content. If the person is blind, maybe they will have a hard time trying to understand all this data, all these images, all these numbers. For this reason, sometimes a good way to provide accessibility is by having hidden text, like alternative text, for example, that the user can just read what data is there. The best way to provide it is just by writing, just like you were writing a normal text, but of course in an easy way and very focused on the data. And the fifth point is take care when using colors. They can't be the only thing to emphasize on a specific data. This is really important because if the person is a colorblind, then they can have a hard time trying to understand. On these pizza charts, it's more common to have this kind of trouble because maybe they have the red and the blue just side by side. And for one who is colorblind, it looks all the same thing. So it's important. Don't rely just on color. For example, here I have just used one color and it works perfect. Maybe on your case it won't work. Then you can try to use patterns or different kind of text. I don't know. You can try to highlight in different ways in order to provide access to everybody. And the last 2 points is, if the chart has different colors, make sure to insert some kind of space between them. This way, even colorblind people can understand the different data. If here you have red, for example, and here you have green, and both are just side by side, then the person will see just one block. But if you have a space like this, or it doesn't have to be so big, but if you have a space, they will be able to know that these are different data. For this reason, it's important to provide this space between the data. And here goes the don'ts. Make sure you don't use the chart as a static image like PNG or JPEG. It must be reproduced by the developer. This is important because imagine someone who can navigate just using the keyboard, for example. They will have a hard time if your image is just like an image. they can't navigate through the data. So it's important to code your chart. So please talk to your developer about it, because it's really important and it will also allow you to a more responsive chart. And the second don't rely just on color. We have already talked about it, right? So we won't talk about it anymore. The third don't is don't use complex charts if there was no need. Sometimes we like to put complex contents on our screens because they seem cool and they're not cool. If it's hard for the user to understand and there's no need to them to be there, just let them, okay? It's better for everybody and it will be easier for everyone to understand it. And for today, this is it. I hope you had liked. Please subscribe, please leave your comments, and keep following here on Instagram, on everywhere. Thank you so much.